YSL Myself Le Parfum video coming right up. Stay tuned. What is going on, guys, and welcome again to another video. Finally, after a whole week, me trying just to get my nose on the new YSL Myself Le Parfum. This fragrance is already out, but it's so popular that you just can't find it anywhere. It just sold out everywhere. You go to Macy's, you just can't find it. You go to Nordstrom, you just can't find it. You just keep on going there. You just can't find it. This fragrance probably is gonna be the best release of the year based on its popularity. It's very popular, and its popularity just based off the original YSL Myself. Don't get me wrong, I do really enjoy Myself the original. It's very basic fragrance, but it does a job perfectly. It's very versatile, something very easy to wear. So for the regular Joes that have only one fragrance, Myself the original, it's just perfect for that. It's very fresh, strong enough just to cut through the winter. I'm talking about my LA winter here. I always called it the nowadays Acqua di Gio because it actually does the Acqua di Gio job back in the day. It was a surprise for me personally when I first smelled it, just because it's got a big dose of orange blossoms. And orange blossoms, as a matter of fact, it's a very, very risky note for the regular Joes, because it smells fresh, citrusy, but with a big dose of floral nuances. So not a lot of guys would actually enjoy orange blossoms in fragrances because it just gives out a kind of like a feminine vibe because of that floral nuances it gives. But with the original Myself, it just actually just works. A lot of very zingy bergamot with a lot of orange blossoms as well, but it was just made in a very simplistic way. And simplistic is really hard to make. It's not easy at all. But good, okay? Simple, but good. And it just reminded me of the master perfumer Francis Kirkjohn would make. That's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of something that Maison Francis Kirkjohn would make. Something very, very, very simple, but at the same time, it's really, really hard to make it as appealing as the way it is. So that's when it comes to the original Myself. Let's just compare the original Myself to the brand new release of the Myself Le Parfum. Myself Le Parfum is just taking the same route with just different notes. It's very warm, smooth, in a very sophisticated way. Not trying too hard, not a lot of complexity going on, but in a very, very good way. You can smell the original DNA of Myself at the get-go from the beginning, but with added a lot of warmth. With the vanilla and amber, it's not too sweet, but it just gives it a lot of warmth and sensuality. It's definitely something best suited for the nighttime. You're just gonna have to be dressing up for that one. It's perfect for dates. It's very safe for dates, as a matter of fact. And I find the orange blossoms and the vanilla and amber actually works together perfectly. There's also a big dose of pepper. You smell it at the get-go when you first spray it on, but it's not actually a piercing pepper note. Pepper, as a matter of fact, if it's done too much or if it's done not in a very good way, it just comes across very piercing to the nose. It's not the case here at all. It smells spicy, peppery, but in a very woody way. Very well-rounded. And it works very well with the bergamot in the opening. The bergamot here is unfortunately short-lived. It's not as much as the original Myself. It's still fresh with the bergamot, but I feel like the orange blossom that gives it most of the freshness in here. It's not as piercing or zingy as the original Myself with the bergamot. The bergamot here, because of the vanilla and amber that you smell from the get-go, it makes it more rounded. Don't get me wrong, the original is not piercing. It's just fresher and sparkling fresh citruses just gives you that zingy kind of like piercing effect in your nose. It doesn't work like that at all with the new version. It's more grown up, more sophisticated. There is a lot of elegance that you feel with that composition. It's definitely not as versatile as the original. The original, as I said earlier, you can wear it anywhere. I'm saying even though in the dead cold winter, if you just overspray for a regular Joe, it'll do the job. For Myself Le Parfum, I don't think this is best suited for these summer days mostly. You can get away with it like summer nights or summer evenings. Just be cautious with the sprays, especially like on a date, that would do well. Indoors as well, that would do perfectly well. But this is not something I would reach for in the hot, scorching summer heat because of the sweetness in it, even though it's not that sweet, but it would still be glowing for the scorching summer heat. It's just gonna be too much. And it's gonna be too much for people around you as well. I would say this is best suited for fall because it just gives that warmth of the fall season. It just gives a dry, folly feeling because of the pepper note at the beginning and because of the woody nuances also at the very end of this fragrance. And the not so sweet ambery vanilla feel, it just gives off a feeling of dried, falling leaves on the ground. That's what it reminded me of, with some freshness from the orange blossoms and the floral, somewhat fresh feel that the orange blossoms gives as well. It's very basic, simplistic, not that many things going on, but it's done very well. I'm telling you something that Maison Francis Kurkdjian would actually make. It just gives that feeling. When it comes to the performance, this one performs very well in terms of the longevity. Projection, this one projects well, but I feel like the original myself projects better because of the velocity of the citruses the original has. Of that one wearing that I had at the store, it felt like this one just sits closer to the skin. It is denser, thicker, and it leaves a softer sillage behind you, which is the original doesn't have. The original actually pushes out of your skin. It projects. But this one is sweeter, introverted that way. That's how I feel when I had it on. But the longevity though is actually better than the original. It lasted on me like 9+ hours. 9+ hours and I was still able to smell that vanillic woody nuances on my skin very clearly. It wasn't like a faint, gone scent that I just don't count no more. It was actually there, very close to the skin, a skin scent, but it was actually denser. Is it redundant to buy myself Le Parfum if you already own the original? I would say no, because they serve different purposes. One is very versatile, you can wear it anywhere, it's more on the fresher side, very mass appealing. And the other one is mainly suited for the colder weather, a little bit on the sweeter side, woodsy side, and best suited for dates. Much classier, more sophisticated version of the original. So you can own both of them and you'll do just fine. Even though they both smell alike because of the communal DNA that they both share, but you can just own them both, no problem. Would I personally purchase myself Le Parfum for myself? Honestly, I don't know. I really do like this fragrance a lot. It's very useful. If I purchase it, being honest here, mainly for reviewing purposes, just because it resembles another fragrance from the YSL line as well. This one is discontinued, but once I've smelled myself Le Parfum, it automatically reminded me of the discontinued beautiful scent that it didn't get the fame it deserves, L'Homme Le Parfum L'Intense. I do have a bottle of this. I enjoy it. It's beautiful. I do enjoy it a lot. And once I've smelled myself Le Parfum, it automatically reminded me of this one. They have a lot of resemblance, these two fragrances together. It is crazy how close these two fragrances together to each other. So if you own L'Homme Le Parfum L'Intense, probably just give myself Le Parfum a try on your own and see if it's redundant to own these two fragrances, both of them. So this is pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys again for watching and subscribing and doing all the good stuff. Please let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think of myself Le Parfum? Have you smelled it yet? And what do you think of the original myself, the Eau de Parfum? Do you enjoy it? Do you think it's basic? I would love to know in the comment section down below. And this is it. See you guys next time. Peace.